Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a review as part of the Vancouver International Wine Festival that's coming up in the late part of February. In particular, these are kind of exciting wines that I got to pre-taste that will be offered for tasting and also for purchase on the International Wine Tasting Nights, which is the February 27th, 28th, and then March 1st, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. It's a really great place to learn, and there are a lot of wineries, so you do kind of have to control yourself and kind of be focused. And I will be doing another video about kind of which tables I would go and visit and try to give you some tips about how to make the most of the night. I will be down there with viewers and subscribers all weekend. I will kind of have different tastings. I have a dinner, and then we go down together to the International Wine Festival. On Thursday night, I have a kind of a sold-out event where I'm taking a group of people around the tasting room on Friday night. But you might see me in the tasting room, and then Saturday night we're doing a bring your own wine dinner. So it's an exciting weekend and really a great chance to taste some spectacular wines, especially California wines. The winery I'm presenting today is Robert Mondavi Winery. Many people know about this winery, and I guess it gets a bad rep sometimes. It started in 1966 by Robert Mondavi. It was purchased in 2004 by Constellation Brands, which is a huge wine conglomerate. And some people kind of said, well, there's some history there. Robert Mondavi was kind of taken out of the picture. So none of the Mondavis are actually involved anymore. So everyone's like, well, this is not a small winery anymore. It's lost its heart and soul. But, Constellation Brands also is a huge conglomerate. And through the years, they've really built up a great brand. And now they have a really great director of winemaking called Curtis Ogasawara, who I met and who I will have an interview with that's going to follow in this channel in a couple of days. And just talking to him, he's not big conglomerate. He's not big corporate. He's a really nice guy. And, people should really kind of give a chance to these wineries like Camus, like Robert Mondavi. Yeah, they're big, but also they are people too. And the wine director of winemaker, if you see the interview, he's such a nice guy. And I really think that's kind of when you get to meet people and actually put a face to them, you see that they're just people. They're just wine lovers. And hopefully that you'll enjoy that interview where I got to ask him a couple of questions. So the wines that they're going to be presenting at the Vancouver International Wine Festival, we're going to start with the Robert Mondavi Sauvignon Blanc, the 2022. And I don't think I'll have the pricing for you, but hopefully when I get closer to the time frame, we might get some pricing on this. But let's say it's going to be between $40 and $50. That's my guess on this wine. It is taken from their vineyards in Stag's Leap and also in Oakville. A blend of 93% Sauvignon Blanc and 7% Semillon, and you'll see my tasting notes at the end of this video. Next, we have the Robert Mondavi Fumé Blanc, and they are really famous for Fumé Blanc. So it's 87% Sauvignon Blanc, 13% Semillon. So people always say, well, what's the difference between Sauvignon Blanc and Fumé Blanc? Basically, they're the same. They both use the same blend. The Fumé Blanc kind of denotes that it's kind of aged in oak. It's probably have some smokiness in it. It's more like the Poulet Fumé wines of France. That's kind of what they're getting at. But California has a really different spin on them, as you'll see in the interview with Curtis. California's climate is really hot and gets that really great ripeness of fruit, which is what California is known for. And that really changes the spectrum of Sauvignon Blanc. Most Sauvignon Blanc that people are familiar with is kind of the New Zealand, very kind of light and also very acidic and with a lot of citrus notes. That's not the Robert Mondavi Sauvignon Blancs or Fumé Blancs. These are much heavier. They're about, I think they're 15% alcohol content. They've got a heavier body to them, and they've got more tropical fruits and really ripe fruits instead of that citrusy element, although they do have some lime zest type of elements to it, but a lot more like apricots and pears and things like that. So mandarin oranges, very ripe fruit. And that's kind of the characteristic of California wineries. And then lastly, we're going to try, they will be serving this at the, I hope, at the International Wine Festival. This is the 2019 The Estates Cabernet Sauvignon. This is the number 6 wine of the year in for Wine Spectator for 2022. I think it's going to be priced just over between $100 and $150. It's a spectacular wine, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's a blend. So it's 85% of Cabernet Sauvignon, and then 6% of Cabernet Franc, 6% Petit Verdot, and then the rest is Malbec. And so the key with this wine is they have grapes, and they have done this for many years, taking grapes from the famous To Kalon vineyard and put that in this blend, kind of the younger vines. Doesn't matter if you get younger vines or older vines. To Kalon is To Kalon. And we have a really nice discussion of To Kalon. A lot of people ask me, well, what is To Kalon? What's so special of To Kalon? I think Curtis gives us a very good explanation. And what's the characteristic of To Kalon? And, you know, he also shares that. But when you have wines that have To Kalon, you know, as Curtis said, you have some herbs, you have that great vibrancy. When I taste To Kalon wines, I see a lot of great mid-palate and the great tannins. And, you know, Curtis talks about the difference between lots of tannins and smooth tannins. And there is a difference. You can have a very tannic wine that has very sophisticated, soft tannins. Likewise, you can have not a very tannic wine that has very harsh or grainy tannins. So the quality of tannin is very important when you get To Kalon. It's very smooth and enticing. That tannin is, the quality level of the tannin is very important, and that's what I have in the glass here. So I hope that you're going to enjoy the rest of this video where I taste it, and then I hope that you will also stay tuned for my interview with Olga Sarara, which will kind of air in a couple of days. I want to kind of do these two videos back to back because you get the full spectrum. You get my tasting notes, and then you get to hear from him, who is the winemaker. And that's really one of the great things about the Vancouver International Wine Festival. Many times you have to have a principal of each winery at the booth, and many times you either have the owner or the winemaker. And that's really, really fun to kind of have a chance to speak to them. It's hard because it's when you're there that night, there's a lot of people, but if you can get them kind of on a one-on-one, like I had the great opportunity to do, it's so fun. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. Let's taste the wines. So first we're going to start with the Robert Mondavi Sauvignon Blanc. This is the 2022 vintage. And so the grapes come from 2 of their own vineyards in Stag's Leap District and also in Oakville. So let's take a taste of this. Again, I've had these wines with some of my friends earlier today. So on the smell, it doesn't smell like, I'm used to Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, which is a little bit more acidic. This is much more tropical in terms of the aroma for me, like peaches, a lot of orangey kind of smells to this. Very pleasant in terms of like almost like a mandarin orange. I smell on this, on the aroma. Taste profile is all, again, much different than Sauvignon Blanc that you'd have, let's say, from New Zealand, which is going to be a lot more crisp and citrusy and with lemon kind of aromas, lemon taste. This one is more lime, peaches, some oranges, and some minerality on the end of this. So really quite a nice wine. It's got a little bit more weight than I would say New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. So a little different style. I'm a person that really likes a lot of acidity. So that's partly why, for me, this is not my up my taste palette profile, but I think it's still a very well made wine. So my rating is going to be 88 points, acknowledging that I like high acidity wines. So some people actually might like this a lot more than I did. And in fact, that's what happened in our tasting group. Many people really enjoyed this wine. Next wine is a wine that Robert Mondavi made quite famous. This is the Fumé Blanc, which is really named after its smokiness. 2020, they created Fumé Blanc, the kind of brand. Basically, it's a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. So in this vintage, it's 87% Sauvignon Blanc, 13% Semillon. So on the nose, again, very nice, very tropical in terms of the aromas. I get apricots, I get like pineapples, a little bit of floral elements, but some lemon. So very tropical in terms of its smell, but you can smell it. It's actually quite heavy. Both these wines, the Sauvignon Blanc and the Fumé Blanc, are 14.5% alcohol, so quite weighty in the mouth, and even on the nose, you can smell it. It's quite weighty. Not as much acidity as I'd like, but that's me personally. It still has good acidity, but on the aftertaste, it's more like stone fruit, lime, and almost a peel type component to it. Almost slightly like a Pinot Grigio to me, except a heavier Pinot Grigio, like almost a cross between Pinot Grigio and Viognier in a way. It's, again, quite a good quality wine. Of the two wines, most people in our group actually liked the Fumé Blanc a little bit better. To me, it's really a toss-up. I'm going to give it 89 points. Just because I think, to me, it is a toss-up. I think the Fumé Blanc is a little bit more heavy. The Sauvignon Blanc is a lighter style. So different uses for the wines. I think both pair really well with seafood and with actually food. With cheeses would go great. So I think they're really very good quality wines. Last wine we're going to taste is the Robert Mondavi 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon, the Estates. So this would be considered their kind of mid-level wine, although it's still priced over $100. This was, I think, the number 6 wine in 2022 of Wine Spectator magazine. And they do use some younger vine To Kalon fruit in this. So kind of a very, if you get To Kalon fruit, and I've seen some other videos that I've done on To Kalon, that's really, no matter if it's young vines, it's still the best plot of land in Napa Valley. So you're getting some really quality grapes. And the color on this is just magnificent. It's really, really dark, purplish, very attractive color. And the alcohol content on this is 15% alcohol. The alcohol content on this is 15% alcohol. Pretty heavy wine. So I've had this open now for almost 5 hours. When it first came out of the bottle, it was really, really tight. Very, very tannic. It really has opened up a lot since that time. It started with some dark fruit. Now we're getting some floral elements like violets, fresh cut flowers like carnations. Like kind of a potpourri. But of course that underlying dark fruit, black currants, blackberries. And so that's really quite a nice smell to it. A little bit of a hint of oak also. Still very young, probably needs another 5 to 8 years to get to its peak. Real fruit forward wine, lots of dark fruit, black plums, blackberries, black currants, some anise. And then the underlying core, you can tell with the To Kalon fruit, great mid palate, very smooth, a little bit of grainy tannins, but a really chunky, substantial wine, in my opinion. everything that you are expecting from a Napa cab. This is prototypical Napa cab in the traditional sense of the word. I don't think it's over powerful like a lot of the newer Napa wines. It's refined still. Got lots of power, but has that elegance still. It's a really subtle wine also. And so it's got the great balance of power and elegance. And I think that's probably why it had such a high rating. The rating on Wine Spectator is 94 points. I'm there. I'm probably at 93 points right now, but I think it's going to get much better. I think it probably, in its peak, will probably hit 95 points. Exceptional wine if you think about the price. About 100, less, a bit more than $100 probably in Canada, but really, really good quality wine. And I know this is going to continue to get better. It's just a baby right now, but wow, it's got a lot of fruit, a lot of substance, the great mid palate, which I love on these wines. So much beautiful fruit. This is what Napa is known for, that fresh, vibrant fruit. Not over extracted, not over oaked. The fruit comes through very nicely and cleanly, nice aftertaste. Now I'm getting a little bit of tobacco, leather elements, anise, and then there's really nice tannins. A little bit coarse in terms of grainy right now, but I think they will flush out with time. Really enjoyed this tasting. Really liked getting reintroduced to Robert Mondavi wines. They've had, up and down history. They had a great history. Then they were sold, I think, to Constellation Brands. And I think they took a bit of a hit because, they were now no longer a small winery, but, a big conglomerate. But I think they're back to the quality that they're known for. And, they took a beating, I think, for a little while. People were kind of like, wow, that's not really Robert Mondavi anymore. But irregardless of the name, they make great wines and they still have great estates and vineyards. So you can't deny that. They have some of the best vineyards in Napa Valley, and they have a great winemaker. And so, that combination is only going to lead to good things. And I think they're on an uptrend, and anyone who kind of disses them or kind of doesn't give them, doesn't give them the respect that they deserve, then you're going to miss out on some good values. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy drinking.